Raise your hand if you've ever had a client say, my credit's not that great. Maybe I'll just wait another year. Has anybody ever said that? Throw a one in the chat. If you've ever had that pushback from a person, maybe I'll just wait next year. I'm just going to renew my lease one more year. I know the one should just be trailing. Well, today's conversation is going to help many of you just really help more families cross that line. And even if their credit isn't too perfect, okay? So whether we're dealing with people that have amazing credit, a 780 credit score or 620, just kind of barely getting in the door, we've been in the business long enough to see there's a good variation of people that come through. And I've been a real estate agent for 25 years. And when I started in my tenure in real estate, the industry, I was a mortgage loan officer. And as I began that business, I started to see credit. And as it unfolded, I started to see it really told a story, just like a resume on someone's, looking at their job history. The credit report tells an amazing history. And I started to really see people have stories as they share with you. See, what happened was, if you ever start sentences off like that, well, a lot of people have that. And you have to really lean in and have empathy too. Some people have situations going on. And I had poor credit at one point. I have 480 credit score. I remember looking up one day, I know y'all are judging me already, like 480. Yes, I had a 480 credit score. And this was before I knew what I knew now. And 480 back then simply was just not paying the bills on time, allowing some things to get past due, but not really understanding how it affected my credit. This was before I purchased my first home at 25. So before the age of 25, I got into a little bit more education and understood, all right, I'm about to be a loan officer. I'm looking at how the dynamics of credit really works. And I started to really see and fix the problem. And that's when I also, my broker at that time, because I have my real estate license also at the time, but my broker asked me a simple question. He said, what kind of client do you want to work with? Like, who is your ideal client? And I said, well, luxury client is not really my clientele. I'm not really savvy or really knowing too much about military clients, but I know a little bit about credit because I've been there. I'm starting in the mortgage business at that time. It was very early in my mortgage business career as well. And I said, well, I can really talk with people who have less than perfect credit. I want to help that person that no one is reaching down to. It's it's easy to reach up to the 780 clients or the ones who have cash, not a problem. They're ready to go. But I wanted to really have an impact to help more people cross the line, as I shared, to help those people get recognized, be seen, just be heard, that their credit doesn't have to remain what it is. So I moved that 480 score quickly up to a 700, purchased my first home. And from that point in my business, just like Karen, I had met a lot of realtors because I was working with a lot of their clients as well, helping them with their credit clients as well, getting to rentals, purchase a home, get the security clearance that they needed. And that's where it started. So I also started attracting my own clientele because they knew this lady could help me fix my credit. And for this conversation today, you may not have an abundance of credit clients, less than perfect credit clients that may be coming to you, but this is just an awareness conversation to know if you have a database, if you have family, if you have friends, you're going to be able to open up a whole new department of clients that could be coming your way that could really be August, November, maybe next year clientele. And that's really the purpose of today, is just we're not going to overlook those clients. We're going to be able to give them the proper help, give them the proper resources so that they can be seen, be heard, and get into that property. Does that sound good? I fixed my own credit. And I know that's not something that is a sexy topic for a lot of people to really go into. And it may not be the clientele, as I said, that you are really wanting to nurture, but you've got to be able to have a heartbeat to understand where that person is and how to help them. Okay. There's typically three different objections that people will have. When someone has less than perfect credit, they typically have three objections. And this person just could be a regular person of why they're just not buying a house. Let's forget the credit for a second. But anytime that someone might be coming in your space, there's typically three reasons why they're not buying a home. One could simply be their mindset. Their mindset is not focused on purchasing anything. And generational renters, they're loving being a renter. They're looking at the news and they're just feeling all the gloom of, oh, I could never do that. I could never purchase a home. Oh, the rates are so high. I'm going to be okay in my apartment with all the amenities and the gym and all this. And they're not focusing on the financial aspect of, hey, did you ever focus on looking at why people purchase a home? Did you ever think about when you sell a home, where you would stand financially if you were to sell a home? Okay. So those are the things where people, just, the mindset of a person when they're ready to purchase a home. It's different. They're open, they're ready. But someone who doesn't have that mindset, they're definitely going to give you all kinds of excuses on why it's not going to work for them. The second reason why people don't purchase a home is simply around money. It's simply around money in some kind of capacity. It could be their income. It could be their savings account. It could be one in between there. I remember when I was buying my first home at 25 years old, I didn't think I could purchase a home because I'm thinking the loan officer is going to use my net income. See, you just don't know what you don't know. My mom was my realtor. So at 25 years old, she's, of course, a real estate agent, letting me see townhomes and condominiums in a different light. And I'm coming from apartment world. And I didn't know that my gross income is what's used, the fake number, the fake number, but that's the number that's used. So I had a moment of clarity. I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe some of your clients are having that kind of moment as well, where they're thinking, I didn't think I could purchase because my income is here, but really their income is high enough to purchase a home. And the third reason why someone may not purchase a home is because of their credit. Simply because they've seen it, maybe on Credit Karma. We're not going to use that nasty word. They've seen it on Credit Karma, or my bank said it's a 735. But in actuality, it's a 625 because Credit Karma really doesn't give you the best rhythm of what your scores really should be. So those are the main reasons why people don't purchase a home. Their mindset, their money is funny, or their credit. And it could be a combination of all of those where it could be. Statistically, single women purchase more homes than single men. So mindset goes back to mindset. You have some men thinking, well, why would I? Why would I purchase? And guys, just kind of close your ears for a second. Most women are leading the pack when it comes to that conversation of persuasion, and they make that decision. Hey, honey, why don't we? And okay, you can unplug your ears. Then they say it's a great idea. So a lot of times women are leading that discussion on homeownership, leadership as far as, let's purchase a home. And the guys are just like, okay, cool, whatever you want, honey. So a lot of times you'll find that a lot of women, single women, are purchasing home. Of course, married got the top of the cherry, but when it comes to single men versus women, most single women are purchasing more numbers. A lot of people have credit scores under a 620, and actually a 670 and above is considered a good score. 620 is not a good score. It'll get you into a home, but it's not a great score. So 670 above is really the number that people are striving for so that they can get better rates, better opportunities, less stress with the lender, okay? But 26% of Americans have a credit score under 620. So if you take a look at the world, just America, because you may not all just work in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, but you can refer people, right? So there's still opportunities in Texas. There's still Arkansas, New York. There's still opportunities for you to help someone. with someone that has a marginal credit. There's 340 million people in the United States. Just 26% of that, I think you can find a good amount of people that have less than perfect credit that might be able to be in your car, that might be a new homeowner working with you. Okay. So let's get into some of the reasons. So just going back to the reason how I got into this, I got into the credit space originally, one, because my credit was funky. And then at the time, the real estate broker that I was working with, about 5 years into my business as a realtor, asked me, what do you want to do? Who is your ideal client and who do you want to work with? And I said, well, I guess it'll be less than perfect credit because less than perfect credit clients, because I was that person. I understand that person. And I really want to help more of those people cross the line and get into homeownership. So that's where things started with me, still helping clients to this day, coach them, work on their credit, and still working with realtors like you guys to help them get their credit clients off the curb and into properties. Okay. So let's talk about some of the struggles that a client typically goes through. You have to understand there is a struggle that that person individually goes through. And you, as a professional, have to ask more questions, not the nosy, back-to-back interrogation questions, but you want to find out why, what's going on, and why clients don't open up. Why do you think they don't open up? Just someone just unmute themselves and say, and answer this. Why do you think clients don't open up about their credit up front?
They're embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Yes.
It's mostly because they're embarrassed to
Yeah.
know about finances.
Right.
And also in this country,
Mm-hmm.
and because I'm from another country,
Mm-hmm.
people do not talk about finances. End of story. They
Yeah.
don't say they have $1 or 100. They just don't talk about it. And they
Right.
feel very embarrassed
You're right.
when they don't have the same amount that they think you have.
That's true. So a lot of facades. It's a lot of masks that are on, right? And because that happens, I'm very transparent. I just don't care. And at this point, I want people to understand I was you and you don't have to fake it with me. And I really want people to understand that. So they kind of lets their guards down a little bit more when they understand, oh, you've been where I am? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you been told that, you'll get something in the mail in regards to the decision? Yes, I've gotten that too. Yeah. So all of those kind of things, you make light of it, but you also want to lean in to find out why they're having it. And they're not going to be upfront with you. So it's really important. Yeah. Makes things totally relatable that they're saying, okay, we're having a Me Too moment. All right. We're having a you too? Yes, absolutely. All right. There are lots of fears that people have about their credit scores. They don't know what they need to know. They're going on Credit Karma, they're going on their bank, and they're getting all these wild pieces of information, trying to put it together themselves because they don't want to say anything to someone. So understand that those fears are real. Understanding that credit struggle also, you have to look at what lenders look for also. Are your lenders looking at them as just another number and just say, fix it and come back? Or are they actually leaning in to say, you know what, Diane, I know that there are some obstacles on here. What we're going to do is we're going to set a plan together. And I know that you're working with your realtor, Kendall, and we want to start getting some things together. You said by September that you're trying to be in your home. Got it. So let's put a plan together. Are your lenders even giving that kind of support? You've got to know that now and really have those conversations with your lenders, because a lot of times when you release your customer, your client to the lender, your customer can get irritated and go away. And it's all because of the tone of the conversation from the lender. Did the lender have a heartbeat and have a relatable conversation with your customer? Or did they say, you have a 425 or you have a 625? We need this in order to move forward. So, just come back when you get a better credit score. Prayerfully, your lenders are not that cold, but you definitely want to make sure that you've got that conversation of my clients, when they come to you, I need you to treat them like your daughter, your son. You got to have that conversation so that they understand my client matters. And if they ghost me, I'm ghosting you. I'm ghosting you because you're not doing a great job of helping nurture this type of situation. Does that make sense? Okay. So, it's not just one person that plays a key role. It could be your lender. It could be you. It could be them. It could be family members. It could be a variety of things. But you don't want it to be your circle that is causing that disruption. I had a lender that I unfortunately had to fire. Not unfortunately, I fired him. And it was a couple of years ago because he became very cold with my client. And when she reported it back to me, I addressed him. He really dismissed everything and just said, it's her fault. And I said, wow, we're done. We're done. Respectfully, we're done. Because I can't have that type of person on my team if that's the way that they're feeling. This is a customer purchasing their first home. Hello. You can't have that kind of attitude. So, yeah, everyone can't win your business. This is a two-way street, ladies and gentlemen, right, Lisa? They've got to win our business, and we've got to be able to keep that business going, and they have a lot to do with it, right? So let's talk about your role as a realtor. Let's talk about your role as a realtor. If they don't qualify today, will they still remember you when they do qualify? Do not ghost your own clients. It's very important for you to position yourself as a resource. And we'll talk a little bit more in a few minutes about how you can do that. But if they don't qualify today, are you dismissing them? Or are you putting them into a vehicle that can really help them out? Okay. A lot of times realtors can just say, well, they're a renter client today. That's all they wanted to do. But they could be a purchase client if you asked more questions. And some of the times we don't ask enough questions. Let's be honest. We don't ask enough. We just take in, oh, you want to rent? Okay, got it. Let's just move through that process. You want to purchase a home? Okay, got it. Well, the lender said you have a 610 credit score and they need a 640 in order to do the down payment assistance program. So, what you going to do? So it's really up to you to kind of help ask more questions. Remember, it's around 3 different areas. Is their mindset focused on purchasing a home? Are you getting them excited and speaking life into them as if they're already homeowners? You want to forward the conversation and just say, your why has to be very important. And I really want to make sure that I'm hearing everything that you're saying. You said you wanted to move because your family is in the Howard County area. Got it. Okay. So it's very important for you to be near family. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, then that's the focus. So whether they're a renter or a purchaser, you've got to hype them up like you are their personal hype man. If their credit score is a 510 or a 710, you want to be that resource to make sure you are guiding them through no matter what. Be that hype man, be that hype woman. In the meantime, provide resources. Find out, what do they need? Is there something missing? Yeah, I could probably use a budget. I've never done a budget before. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Let's focus on doing a budget. Let's set up a Zoom, or if you want to come into the office, I have a blank worksheet. When was the last time you actually did a budget? And I bet you the client will say, Vivian, I haven't done one in months. I haven't done one ever. They probably would say that. And that's a good time. Be a resource to help them out, because even if the lender did pre-approve them for $500,000, they may not want to pay $4,000 or $5,000 a month for a mortgage payment. Hello? They may look at their budget and say, well, I really need to be around $2,700. Maybe less than that if we really did the budget correctly. But the budget is really going to be the honest temperature on, hey, here's some areas before you're renting, before you get ready for homeownership, Connie, here are some areas that you may want to shave cost in. So let's sit down and really just kind of get some things together. Do you know that as you're becoming a resource for that person, they're leaning into you more because no one else has done that. So you focus on, hey, your insurance, you're paying $400 a month. Is there any way that you can possibly call them and have them reassess the policy? Oh, I never thought about that. God, you're paying AT&T $170 a month. Do you think that if you threaten to leave that they can maybe reassess this payment and go on down the list with them? Because a lot of times we're making payments on things every single day and we're just not paying attention that some of those could be lowered. So if you're coming in as a resource, help them out with those basic things to help them lower their expenses. And more than anything, right now, you helping them with that can help them bring in more money that they didn't even realize that they had. Okay. Even when it comes down to the lender, sometimes lenders have this discussion where it comes to their payroll, the deduction cost that can really happen. It used to be back in a couple of years ago, you can adjust your payroll so that your exemptions can either be modified up or down, right? Your deductions. And that way, the more exemptions that you have, then the more money that you have on your paycheck. So how can you help someone bring home more money? Have that discussion with them on their payroll. Okay. Talk to them about, hey, when you purchase a home, you're able to go into HR, readjust your W-4 form, and then you, of course, because you're a homeowner now, you can raise your exemptions up, and then that way you can bring home more money. They're like, I didn't know you could do that. Yes, legally, you can bring home more money. Okay. And so those are the kind of conversations. If your lender is not having that discussion, why aren't you? You can certainly do that. Okay. You being credit aware is going to close way more deals because that client that you're leaning more in towards, helping them with their resources, they're going to appreciate all that you're doing and definitely send you referrals for life. You will definitely be that one because no one else was helping them, but you were. Okay, so don't disregard them. Now, here's a toolkit for realtors. Yeah, welcome. Here's a toolkit for some credit challenge people. Do you know that there's red flags? And I'm wearing red today. Do you know that there's red flags that clients have? The ghosting happens, the hesitation. You're calling them and you're like, where are you? Are you in witness protection? Are you in jail? What happened to you? Like, but you see them on Facebook and social media. I'm like, so you are alive. You're just ignoring my call. All right. So there's some hesitations and they avoid getting pre-approved. Why? All right. Goes back to the three things: their mindset, their money is funny, or their credit is funny. You have to know these things. There's 5 things that I'm going to share with you. All right. In your toolkit, you need to just understand. Just laugh it off when it happens. Like, all right, he's avoiding me. She's avoiding me. But don't get upset. Just understand they're dealing with life, but they also could be dealing with something else that you may not know that has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with purchasing a home. Okay. You also want to make sure that you're leaning in and sharing stories with them more often. Those stories will sell you. The facts tell. Like I can tell facts. The how many million people are in the world? 19% of single women are purchasing homes. 10% are single men are purchasing homes. But the stories are what's going to gel the relationship. Like Stephanie said, it's that relatable moment. So whatever their issue is, and I'm gonna give you a secret to how women operate. Men, come on over here for a second. When you ask a woman what's wrong, she'll never tell you the first time. She'll never tell you the first time. Honey, second time. What's wrong? Oh, it's nothing. I'm not even going to bring it up. Ah, she's warming up. Okay. Third time, gentlemen, third time, she typically will tell you what's wrong on the third time. So if we know this to be true, You don't want to just ask, well, how come you're not purchasing a home? Ah, just because. Oh, okay. All right. And move on to something else. That's a secret. Women, you can do that as well because women do it with other women as well. And I find that that third time they're giving you the truth. The third time they're going to give you the truth. Well, I just separated from my husband and I'm just kind of getting some things together. What does that mean? Got it. It's either the mindset is off, the money is funny because you just separated, or the credit. And so it could be a combination. When you have all three, you got a lot of work to do, but they have the ability to still stick in there with you. So just make sure that you're sharing stories. I did have another client separated, and we just kind of took a step back and we did X, Y, and Z. She purchased a home and she was very excited and super excited that things moved on. Whatever your story is, you can share it from another realtor. You can share it from me, your own personal story, whatever it is, make sure that you're incorporating stories more so that you can relate more to that person in front of you. All right. Going back to number 3, trusted partners. You've got to have a go-to list for your partners. Now, here's something I just wanted you ladies and gentlemen, you create your own department, your own department. All right. And you can now say, I've opened up, or our team, our office has opened up a new division, a new department, a credit division. And we're helping more people with less than perfect credit that are looking within the next 6 months to buy a home really move forward. Do you know someone that might fit that? Yes, I would. I'm looking to purchase by the end of the year. My credit is not that great. Who do I need to talk to? So I'm raising my hand, Lorie Woodruff, because I still help clients with less than perfect credit fix their credit. I can be your credit resource. So if you do have clients that stumble upon your space, or you're doing your lead generation calls, you're checking in with your sphere, you can lead in with that and just say, hey, we opened up a new division. Our team has opened up a new division, a new department, however you want to say it. And you want to say, if you know someone that may be looking to purchase a home within the next 6 months that may have some challenges with their credit, we're taking on new clients. How many of you can say that? Y'all can steal that one. Y'all can steal that one. Okay. And your department could be me. I'm working with your clients. I don't want your customers to show houses. I want to be able to help nurture the credit situation that they have. So I could be on your team if you need my assistance. Absolutely, I'm offering my help to you. So Muhammad, Vivian, Alexis, if you have those clients, you're like, yeah, I think I could call some of my people up and say, we've got some help. Do you know someone? Now, I would never call someone on the phone and think that they're the ones with the bad credit. You kind of work through them, right? If I was calling Cheryl and just saying, hey, Cheryl, haven't talked to you in a little while. Just wanted to give you an update. Our team now has a credit department. So if you know someone in your family or friends, or if you know someone in your walk that may have less than perfect credit but is looking to purchase a home, let me know because we can service them. Okay. And that's it. And that you're being of value to that person. That person could say, yo, that's me. I might need to talk to someone in that credit department. Or they may say, okay, thank you, Cheryl, for letting me know. All right. So I'll leave my information. I'm not just a coach within Sampson Properties. I've been a business coach for the last 10 years. So many of the clients I'm still working with now are realtors. They are entrepreneurs, and it's anything around marketing their business, but definitely still around helping with credit. So I'm looking at credit reports often. So if you do need that help, ladies and gentlemen, I can still help with that. So you can send me an email and let me know this person is looking and they're ready. One thing you want to also get great at with your team is when you're sending off referrals to your lender or myself or anyone that's on your team, you may want to make sure that all parties are on that email. Because remember the client mindset, that mindset piece. If you're talking, Olga, to your client and you're saying, I've got Lorie that you can talk to, here's her phone number. Do you know how long it may take your client, Olga, to actually call me? Y'all have been through that game, right? Hey, did you call? No, I didn't call you. Did you call him yet? That whole game, right? So whenever you're referring someone, make sure that both parties know it at the same time. Yeah, always give them value. You don't always need to call your folks saying, it's a great time to buy a house. It's not. They need help in some area of their life. So definitely be of value and give them something. Right. Yes, they're missing an action, Olga. They're missing an action once again. But if you send an email to me and the client at the same time with their phone numbers in the email, I'm going to call them that day. I waste no time. I'm not going to wait weeks, days, or months to call that person back because now there's someone else holding them accountable. Now they can't just, procrastinate like we humans typically do. So if you do that, just know you will be copied and you will be updated. I check in with my customers, my clients, at least every 2 weeks. On my coaching calls, typically our coaching clients, we're talking every 2 weeks. But even on the clients that I'm working with, especially if it's their credit, it's either every week or every 2 weeks until it's done. Okay? So we just don't drop them off and just say, all right, good luck. They're there with bad credit for a reason because no one is holding their hand. There's no one holding them accountable to finishing a task. I'm helping them finish a task. Got it? Okay, so copy everyone. If you're talking to lenders, just don't give the phone number to the lender. Copy both parties so that the lender can reach out as well. All right. The fourth thing is the power of preparation. Make sure that you ladies and gentlemen are sitting down with your clients, as I mentioned before, doing the budget with them. Your future forecasting what home ownership is going to look like. Is this the payment that's going to be good when you're in your new home? All right. Is there any way that you can shave off some of the entertainment or the food or, other bills? This is your time to prepare them. Even though they may not be ready to purchase until January, in your eyes, you're thinking that's a long ass time. That's a long time. But guess what you can be doing right now? Preparing them, right? Getting them ready. Check in with them. Please check in with them. And checking in could be every 2 weeks. It could be once a month. Text one time. Email another time. It could be a voicemail the next time. It could be a call the next time. So spice it up, but you don't have to call them, but just don't go ghost on them as they're preparing. Now, here's some of the way that the conversation goes. If someone is going through credit disputing or I'm helping them work on their credit, let's say, for example, there is a time where they're not going to run away from me because they know I'm going to call them because I'm giving them little homework assignments. All right, well, don't forget to call Experian or don't forget to call whatever creditor, let's say, right? And see if you're able to get that balance down, right? I'll give them small tasks to do. It's Tuesday. I'll check back with you on Friday before the weekend to see how things are going. So that's holding them accountable that they got to call their creditor because they know I'm going to be calling them back to check on that. And so it's little small progressions like that that I'm doing to help them move forward so that by the time they look up, I'm like, wow, it got done. They actually did it. I'm like, all you had to do was try. You had to give it a shot. All right. Hopefully this is giving some moments for you guys to know that that preparation time is everything because everyone is not ready to buy right now. They need time to ramp up and to be ready to work with you. Okay. And the fifth thing is you've got to be familiar with these creative financing options that are out here. You've got to know about FHA. You've got to know about VA loans. How much can you get? Endless closing help on a VA loan, but 6% on an FHA deal. Well, what does my credit score need to be if I want to do the down payment assistance program in Prince George's County? 640. Okay, you need to know these things. Well, this house looks like crap. and I want to go through the HGTV experience. Well, let's talk about that 203K loan. I know a lender that can help you with the 203K loan. So you want to maybe sit down with your lender and just really have a discussion, lunch, coffee, and you guys talk about some of the facts that you need to know as a realtor on what are these programs, what are the highlights of these that I need to know, because as I'm talking to people, I want to see if they fit and send them your way. You got it? Yes, the what's next, the homework. We as big adults still need a homework. Even my coaching clients, I let them know up front, we have homework. And they get excited about it because it's like, ugh, but they're excited about it. They're excited because someone is helping them progress to get to the new closings that's happening. All right. All right. So we've talked about the 5 things that we want to keep in our toolbox and just keep in mind. You've got to know the red flags, the pushbacks, the hesitations. You understand when that's happening, it's around their what? Mindset, their money is funny, or their credit is weird. It's around one of those areas. So just know the red flags, but ask more questions to really figure out how to figure out the core. How many times do you have to ask, ladies and gentlemen? How many times do you need to ask what the true reason is? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3 times. 3 times a charm. Guys, try that with your lady when you get home. Only when you have a discrepancy going. Only when you have a discrepancy. You ask her. I think if you've been married long enough, you know. But the first time, she's never going to tell you because she's not ready to tell you yet. She's not ready. The second time, you're like, all right, you care, but I'm still not ready to tell you. I'm giving you a little bit more. The third time is going to be, oh, you're going to get it all. All right. So third time, she gets to release that. And that's a good thing. Same thing with your customers. They need that as well. And when you're leaning in, just say, tell me more. And then what happened? How did that make you feel? Okay. Just put your Oprah hat on for a little bit. You just kind of lean into that a little bit more. The second thing is you want to have more stories. Take these stories from your lender, take them from private events that happen to you, your peers in the industry. What happened around credit, money, or mindset that someone needed to get better and they did get better? Something that's relatable to that person in front of you. The third thing is you want to have a trusted partner list. Your lenders need to be trusted people. Okay. Your credit department, I'm trusted. So you got to make sure that they are trusted to make sure that they're giving your clients the right type of information. And any other people that are associated in that transaction, you want to make sure you take a temperature to make sure you guys are on the same page and they're speaking to your clients with respect and empathy. Okay. The fourth thing is the power of preparation. Get them prepared before they even get pre-approved. Work with them. Right now, I've been working with a lender called me and she says, I have a client for you. She's got a 587 credit score, but we need to get her up to a 640. And I said, all right, we're ready. Her realtor is just on the sidelines, just kind of waiting because there's nothing the realtor can do at this time. It's got to be up to the lender, myself, and the client to get busy. So she's got a 587 credit score now. And it's not a lot of bad credit. It's just she had a lot of credit cards that had heavy balances in relation to the limit. And as she's doing that, I walk through the client, look through her credit report, all right, continuously edified her realtor and her lender at the same time, but got her excited about moving forward. And she's all she had to do. Now she has a plan. She's got a plan in front of her. Now she's got the work. I'm checking in with her every Friday to make sure, did you do this? How's everything going? Are you having any complications? And she's still excited. There was a couple of times she's a nurse, so she's busy. She's like, I'm a little overwhelmed at work. I got it. I got it. Well, I'll talk with you on Monday, get your things together, but at least she knows I'm there calling. All right. So the preparation is everything. Her credit score, she had to get her balances paid down. She did some disputes on her own credit report. 45 days later, she's at a 657 score. So is she ready to purchase now? All she needed was a 640. And so with that preparation, she didn't know what she needed to do. We guided her and I've been with her. I feel like she's my sister now, but now we've been talking 587. Now she's at 657. And I just got that news yesterday. Okay. So she's ready. So now she's working with the lender and the real estate agent so they could do their part now. Okay. So sometimes, like I said, that's part of the preparation that some of the clients need to get back to working, to get to working with you. And the fifth thing is be very, very familiar with creative financing options. These options are out here, but you don't have to be a loan officer to go deep into them, but you do want to be pretty familiar with what is a 203K loan? How long does that take? What are the credit score requirements for that? What are the down payment assistance programs in your area? DC, Maryland, and Virginia, they all have different ones. And find out what the score is. Are there income limitations? All of those things. You just want to be very familiar with those. FHA has limits as far as how much closing help you can get. VA, none. So you want to be very familiar with those things. Okay. How are we feeling so far? Good. You got some notes, Stephanie? Yes. All right. Everyone's not going to come to us as a 780. I wish, but that's not the score. That's not it. That's not it. All right, Lisa. All right, so we got a little bit more to continue, then we can wrap up. The relatability aspect matters so much. People need to know that you're not perfect just because you're in this industry. You've simply decided to be truthful in order to make more informed decision. It buys a level of comfortability for new prospects. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't fake it. Don't fake it. Don't fake it. Just if it's a vulnerable moment and you know that you can share that, not everything, but if it's a moment where you can share everything and you feel it's going to help at that time, that's a connection. That's a connection. And it, you know, breaks down that wall of that client that's sitting in front of you. Okay. They're already embarrassed. Like Vivian said, they're already embarrassed. But you don't want to be sharing last Saturday. Not everything, not everything, right? But you do want to break down some of the embarrassment that they may have and just understand we have a Me Too moment. Okay. Now here's a story that I'm super proud of. This was a few years ago. A realtor had asked me to help a client, and this was in a rental situation. A rental situation. Now you know that, yep, there I'm going to go into that. The rental market is pretty rough in some areas where they have requirements too. And they have credit score requirements, and all of them are different. There's no uniformity. One property could say 720 is the minimum, the other one could say 620. And so you need to know this up front. All right. And when it comes down to, you know what, even with a rental property, we do need to make sure that you're a good fit for this home. So you want to make sure that you're letting them know, I want to make sure that I'm not wasting your money or your time. So I'm going to send this application to you. It's a basic application, and you ladies and gentlemen can get this right off of your own system. I have an application, a rental application. It's a blank one, and I send it to them, and they can fill it out right online. All right. I'm going to fill that out. Give your last two pay stubs, your driver's license, a copy of your driver's license, and here's a link that you can pull your credit for just $1. We're doing this in preparation so that we can find you the right rental property, because some of these property management companies, they have requirements with income and credit. So I don't want to waste your non-refundable monies. I don't want to waste that. And they're like, yeah, thank you. Thank you for looking out for me, right? They don't want to waste their money, but you as the professional are showing, I care. Let's get this process started. And you're only going to look at houses until you fill out this application. How many of you now pull an application or have your clients fill out a rental application before you go looking at rental properties? Hey, Carl. Good morning. There should be a lot of me's in here. There's 27 of you. There should be way more. All right. Got to prepare them because if you just take their word for it, all right, Lisa, good. If you just take their word for it, you're wasting everyone's time and you're setting them up for disappointment. So let's just say you're talking on the phone. They're like, yeah, I make 110,000. Last time I checked my credit 2 years ago, I think it was 640. Hmm, okay, good. Well, let me pull the houses that you want. You said Gaithersburg. Okay, where else? Rockville. Okay, got it. All right, check your email. You should have some. And you're showing them homes that are 27, 3,000 a month, whatever that the number is that they said they wanted. Now it's time to go look at these properties. You get in your car that you spend good gas money on, and you're driving up and meeting them at the property, high-fiving them, saying, let's get inside. This is a good one. And then all of a sudden, you get inside there, they fall in love with it. This is nice. This granite is taking me out of this world. And they're just like, I want to put an application in. You do? Okay. Well, let me find out. Let me call the agent. Is this property still available? Okay, thank you. Rent free? Okay, good. Well, you're going to have an application in a few minutes. All right, good. So your customer goes on to rent spree, fills out the application, and then there's silence. Hey, did you hear anything back on that property up in Rockville that we saw? I didn't. Let me call the agent. It's been 2 days. Hey, Olga, you're listing over on Main Street. I'm just trying to find out. Vivian Johnson? I just wanted to find out the status of it. Oh, 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 I didn't know all that. Okay, okay, thank you. All right. So hmm, that 640 turned into a 525 all of a sudden. And then they don't qualify because they just had a bankruptcy that wasn't quite dismissed or discharged yet. So all of those things, now you just wasted everyone's time without looking at their credit firsthand. I'm going to make sure that you all get a copy of a credit report link so that you can help this situation out. Yes? Will that help you? Oh, yeah. Oh, that must be wrong. Credit Karma said I was a 702. Okay. All right, Credit Karma. All right. So you want the truth, right, realtors? You want the truth. So get that application up front before we go out looking at homes wherever on earth. Please fill this out so we can find you the right properties because every home has an income and credit score requirement. Well, why do I have to fill? Before we go out looking, I have to know what your credit score is, and I have to see if you're a great match for this home. I know that you want to move by September, so we don't want to waste any more time. Got it? Assume the sale, but also be confident that you've got to have them fill that application out prior to looking at properties. All right? We waste no time. So before we end here, I've got 3 things I'm going to share with you, and one of them will be a credit reporting link. It's very readable, and it's got all 3 credit bureaus, and this is something that they can pull for just $1. Got it? They've got $1 if they're renting with you. So just stay tuned. I'll give you that in a few minutes. But keeping that in mind, keep that story in mind because you don't want to waste anyone's time looking at properties with a low credit score. She just wasted $65 now, and you could have avoided that simply by getting her application up front. And that's when I come into play. So back to the story. 62-year-old woman was looking simply to rent a property. Her realtor says we've been getting denied back to back. She doesn't want to buy a home right now. She's 62 and she's okay with renting. And I said, all right, well, come on, let me see her. So I talked to her and she says, I'm just interested in renting. I pulled her credit. It was a 587 at that time. And I said, all right, well, let's get to work. She did have some things that needed to be disputed so that she can get into a positive position to start getting back into the car with her realtor again. Within 30 days, she did what she needed to do. She did her homework. Within 30 days, she calls me screaming because I remember I was in the office. And she calls me screaming. She says, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I'm like, well, something must have come off. So tell me the good news. She says, my bankruptcy was deleted. A collection was removed. And the judgment that I had, it's gone. I don't even see it anymore. Three major things just within her first 30 days of disputing were removed. So she went from 587 to 702, spiked her score up 115 points. She said, she told me this. She says, oh, forget renting. I can buy a home now. 30 days, ladies and gentlemen. So the disputing process simply removes negative credit, negative items off of your credit report. It's not a guarantee, but they've got 30 days. The bureaus have 30 days to verify this information. And if they can't do it within 30 days, by law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act says it must be deleted. So in her favor, she had a collection that was on there open. She had a bankruptcy, which was dismissed. Okay. And then she had a judgment that was paid, but it still was keeping the score down to 587. When those negative items are removed, it's as if it was never there. So it raised the score up automatically. So it went to a 702. We went back to the realtor. The realtor is excited because this is now a rental turned into a purchase. Let me tell you, this housewarming party was the best I've ever been to. She invited me to, she's 62. She invited me to her housewarming, which was a house in Temple Hills, not a townhome, not a condo. She got a house. And she came, this is the lady who helped me with my credit. Come on in. Y'all, she had food everywhere. Food everywhere. Her family and friends were all over the home, but she was proud. That's the moment that happens when you help someone prepare and get something that they never even thought that they could have, right? So just in there, some could take a little bit longer, but hers took 30 days. That was her time. So I shared that story to tell you some of these people that you're working with, you never know until you ask more questions to dig into the income, the credit, that they could actually turn their story around to be just like that. And if they turn their story around to be just like that, that went from a rental commission check to a sales commission check. The lender got her in with down payment assistance. She was in with less money than she would have had to do the first month's rent and the security deposit, less than $5,000. So those are the stories that I love to share. And I want you to remember those type of stories because those are the stories that get people moving forward. To this day, I can call her and she'll still be loud on the phone and she'll be excited. She'll know, I don't even need to say my last name. She'll know who Lorie is. All right. So just remember the long-term game. You're nurturing the not yet clients. You're nurturing them. Set up a campaign, follow up with them at least twice a month, once a month, at least something. Do not let them go until they say kid rocks. All right. You want to hang in there with them. Keep a follow-up system going so that you can stay in touch with that person and celebrate the wins. There's nothing better than someone calling you saying, my credit score just went up 10 points. Yes, let's go. 10 points. Okay. Or more. Whatever it is, make sure that you're celebrating that because no one is celebrating them. So just make sure that you are doing that. You be that cheerleader for them and just make sure that you are building them up so that they will be clients forever. Just remember this, and I'll finish with this. Not every lead of yours is going to be ready, but every client deserves a plan, and that plan should come from us. That plan should definitely come from you, and that should be started immediately when you start reaching out to clients today to let them know that you've got credit opportunities in front of them and you've got a new credit department. And if you do need to get some help, then you can be that help, that resource for them. Three things I wanted to share in the chat that you can copy. If it's going to let me copy. Does anyone have any questions about what we talked about today? The credit disputing process, I'll talk briefly on that before we go. Make sure that you copy this. I will also copy this inside the Facebook group in case you missed it here. I will also put these in here. Okay. Every single month, I have a newsletter, Olga, that goes out to all of my database. Now, it's already pre-templated, but I can also put extra information in there. So yes, customers should be getting something from you at least once a month. Please gather their birthdays when you're speaking with them initially so that your system, your CRM can send them an email for their birthday. It's the best, okay? Holidays, whenever you want to send something out, a broadcast email out, you can send that out. But your database should be getting something. I use Market Leader. So that's the one I've been using since I started in real estate a long, long time ago. So Market Leader is the one that I use. They already have a newsletter and I just let it know what day of the month to go out. And I choose the middle of the month and it already has information about real estate, home ownership tips inside of there. So I use marketleader.com. All right, so let's talk quickly about this and I'll let you guys run. What I put in the chat are 3 things that I use when your credit client calls. All right. So when your client calls, I'm edifying you, I'm hyping them up and figuring out what their why is. Because I, as a coach, want to remind them you matter, your situation is okay, and we're going to get through this as long as you put the work in. Deal? And they're like, yeah, I'll do the work. Okay. So one of the things, the first thing I do, because I can't pull credit report from lenders, they don't allow us to do that. So I have a third party through Identity IQ. So if you see in here where it says order credit report for $1, that is the link I send to them with the rental application. And I say, pull your own credit and send that back with the application to me. Or if I just need to take an independent look at someone's credit report, I use that link so that I can look at their credit report. I'm not pulling it, they're pulling it. Understand that there's also credit monitoring attached to that. So I let them know it's $1 for 7 days. For 7 days, you have this. If you can cancel it, if you want to, that's fine. But after the 7th day, credit monitoring kicks in and it's about $27 a month. If they're going through credit disputing or they have challenges with their credit, they need to keep the credit monitoring because that lets them know in real time what's going on for the good or bad with their scores. Okay. And they can have the ability to pull their credit report, every single month if they want to. Got it? So the first thing I'll do is listen to them. What are their needs? When are they looking to make a move? Again, I'm edifying you as the realtor and making sure that they're getting ready for this process. Also, getting them ready for any other things that they need in their space as far as income, payroll, adjusting their payroll, anything like that to help them bring more money inside the household. Because that's the name of the game right now, is just to make sure our expenses are low. Okay, so I'm having them with that. The next thing you see on there is Rental Karma. Rental Karma is a site that we use that's a third party that gets in touch with your landlord. So let's just say Danielle has a client that has a 617 score and they're marginal to get up to the down payment assistance program in Anne Arundel County, right? They're looking to get that, but they need a 640 credit score. Well, if they're 617, I may suggest, hey, is your rental history added on your credit? And they may say, no, it's not. Sometimes property management companies don't do it. Sometimes they do. But Rental Karma is going to be that company that calls your management company and says, all right, how long have you lived there? How much is her rent? Has she been over 30 days late? Now, all they care about is if you've been over 30 days late, which is great. They're not worrying about 5 or 10 days. Rental Karma is going to gather that information and they're going to report that positive history on that person's credit report. TransUnion and Equifax are going to be updated, typically anywhere between 20 to 40 points, simply because their rent history is now added on. If they live with their grandmother, it's okay. If they live at the apartments, that's fine. If they are renting from a private owner, it's still okay as long as it's verifiable. And your landlord will get A notification by email just to verify. All right, the person's name, how much, were they over 30 days late? Sign it and send it back. That's it. Have you experienced family members that are hesitant about you? Yes, I was going to mention that as well. I don't get upset when family and friends don't work with me. Now I realize it's a personal decision. And if they work with Carl or if they work with you, Connie, I understand it's a personal thing. So they may not want to give all the personal information sometimes. I've just learned not to get mad about it. But yeah, if it's personal, they want to rock with someone and keep the relationship the same with you, Connie. So I get it. It has worked. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. Um, but I don't take it personal anymore. So rental karma is good. That allows that boost to happen within 2 weeks. So if Danielle's working with the client and they just need that short boost, within 2 weeks, she can rerun, her lender can re-pull the credit report and see, all right, the rental history's been added. It added some points on here and it might be just enough so that they can slide into that down payment assistance program. All right. So that rental karma is one of the other ones. If you, I have a discount code on there. So if your client wanted to get some money off, or if you wanted to use that code to get your client's money off of the service, use that code. But if you wanted to do your own, they do have a partnership now. Now it's a charge. I think it's like $60 if you wanted to be an affiliate. So if you wanted to set that up, then you can have your own affiliate discount code as well. But in the meantime, this is free for you. So it doesn't cost you anything. Okay. But just know that some of those companies will pay you $25 when your client does sign up. And Rental Karma is one of them. The last one, the credit disputing process that I use is with Novae Money. So that link I put in there so you can take a look at how that process works. There's a video on there that explains everything of how it works. They use artificial intelligence, AI, to be able to extract the negative information from someone's credit report, place it on 3 different credit dispute letters because one goes to TransUnion, one goes to Experian, and the other one goes to Equifax. So any negative kind of information that someone will have, AI is going to create the letters that need to speak intelligently to the bureaus to enable for some of those things to be deleted. Remember the 62-year-old lady I told you about? She did the disputing process. And when she did that, that's how, when she went through the disputing process, she was able to get those derogatory items removed from her credit report. Not everybody's going to have a sweep of 30 days. Sometimes it may take longer, but I tell people to hang in there for at least 90 days to at least start to see some activity. Of course, it could be sooner than that, but just for practicality purposes, that disputing process does have a fee. It's $169 one time, $199, and then it's $69 until the customer cancels it. That's a last resort if we can't see anything else on the credit report that can be done. Because majority of the time, if we're speaking with people about their credit, we're talking about paying something down or talking about maintenance. Sometimes it's just behaviors of, did you think just if you pay these credit cards down, it will help raise your score. So sometimes we'll look at those things first. I'll go to Rental Karma, but the last resort is if they have a lot of things going on, then the credit disputing process helps really clean up the report so they can really be ready. And as long as your customer is ready to move forward on that, then they do it or not. But that's how a lot of people are starting to see some progression in their scores in a short period of time. So be sure you copy that information. Many of those that are in coaching with me right now, they have access to so many different resources depending on what is needed in their business. So if you did need some specific talk, then if you wanted to schedule something directly with me, then make sure that you're scheduling a one-on-one with me so that we can talk and figure out what's needed in your business and how can we help that customer of yours. Either it's around money, it's around mindset, or if it's around credit, I can certainly help them in those areas. Okay. Any questions? I'm dropping my calendar link in the chat now. Does anyone have any questions? Are you guys excited about calling your database and letting them know you've got some new activity brewing in your new department, in your new credit department, and you can really help them out or help someone that they know move forward? That's right. You have a new department.
Lorie, I have a question.
Yes, Shanice. You're
Sorry.
welcome.
Um, I haven't. My mom has a new puppy, and I'm puppy sitting. Sorry. Um, stop.
Who wants to be on
For
camera?
you want to meet him? That's him.
Oh, he's cute.
So tiny. So if when I'm speaking to a client or a potential client and they do express that they need, some type of credit assistance, I know you said something about sending you their contact information or sending an email. Can you clarify that part again? Like because I want to definitely use you as a resource because I don't have one, right? I don't have a credit resource right now.
Okay.
So is it just that I send them your email and then I CC you? Okay.
CC
Okay.
myself, CC the
Okay.
customer, and you all at the same time.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Or
Thank
a
you.
group text. A group text is
Okay.
fine. However, it was easier for you, but do
Okay.
and just make a habit of that anytime when you're sending a referral to anyone, is even if it is your lender partner, just make sure that all parties are on that email train so that
Okay.
if not one person calls, the other person will.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You know how customers go. They go left, and all of a sudden it's now September 15th. Did you call? No, I didn't. I got hung up. For
Right.
2 months? Listen again.
Right.
Witness protection program. All right. So either email me with them
Okay.
or text me with them, and I'll be happy to help them. I don't want your
Oh,
customers. I don't want your
right.
customers. All right. All right. You got the agreement with them. If you go ghost on them, that's your fault. I don't want you to go ghost on them. So please make sure we're all staying in. Now, any clients that I've ever spoke to, I'm always going back. Hey, Shanice, this is where we are with Bob. This is where we are with Michelle. You're always getting updates, but don't go ghost on them. That's not the
Okay.
service.
All right. Thank you.
Got it. Any other questions? You're welcome, everyone. I'm excited. I'm excited to turn these folks around. So I want to make sure that we're having proper conversations. June is a good month for getting people in. It's now a reset time, getting people excited. And again, just focus on those three things that I shared. They're typically suffering in some areas of mindset. They're not thinking their money is going to be enough. You want to maybe start having some conversations of where do you think you're going to get the money from when you're ready to purchase your home? Make them think. Make them think. Well, I don't know. I don't have a lot of money in my savings. Do you have a TSP with your job? Do you have a thrift savings plan, a 401k? Yeah, I think I have about 72,000 in one. Well, did you know that you could borrow against that? I didn't know that. Mm, got it. So preparation, just make sure that you're allowing them to think a little bit more. And then when it comes to the credit, well, again, how I safely say this, especially with the rental clients, is do you think your credit score is above 640 or below 640? And if they quickly say, oh, it's 735, I'm like, I like that kind of confidence. But if they're dancing around saying, I'm not sure, last time I checked about 8 months ago, it was 640, that means it's below 640. So that means that's a tender spot that needs to be taken care of. Go more deeper into that right there. When was the last time you did check it? Got it. Well, if I sent you a link and you can take a look at your scores, then that would be a good start for us so that we can really get a good gauge on where you are to get you prepared. Amber, you said, do you prefer they see a lender first or you first? After that initial combo, that seems they may need some help. I would say talk to the lender first. Always talk to them first. All right. Some of the lenders hold their hand, some of them don't. And some of them will just say they've got a 627 credit score. they need a 660 to do this particular program, and they may just leave them alone. If they leave them alone, let me in, coach. Let me in and help out so I can see what I can do to help your client get that score up a little bit more so they can get in. Okay. I use the rental application from PG Car, and I have it downloadable, you guys, in a PDF form so that somebody from Fiverr just converted it to a PDF, an editable PDF for me. So when I send that out, they don't have to print it out, but at least they can fill it out on their computer and email it back with the supporting documents that I requested. Copy of the report, the credit report, driver's license, and their two pieces of income. What do you call it? Pay stubs, if they get paid every 2 weeks. Okay. That way I can analyze, because some of these folks are like 2.5 times the income or 3 times. So you have to make sure you're looking at the income first and their credit report before you guys go out renting anything or looking at anything. All right, so I use the PG Car. You can use whatever one that you use with your board. I like the editable fields because it removes any more time because they can fill it out right there online. So I have it as an editable PDF. Another thing that you can also send them, if you notice inside the Facebook group, I send a lot of positive messages inside there. And no shade to what information is going inside the group. There's lots of information that's going back and forth, referrals, open houses, just a lot of different things that we all need. But I'm also putting positive things in there as well so that you can think on a different level. I'm covering the mindset. So when I'm inside the Samson Facebook group, those posts are all about your mind, just making you think on a different level. Why not send something to your customers from time to time? Thank you, Dell. When I send those out, I send them to my coaching clients. I send them to my friends and, people I'm working with. I may go on to YouTube because I'm listening to something every single day. I may take a link from Les Brown or Joel Osteen or, Eric Thomas, somebody that I'm listening to. Denzel Washington now has some great tracks on there, some motivational tracks. I'll take some of those tracks and I'll copy it and I'll share it with my client. Great mornings begin with great inspiration. Something as simple as that, and I'll send that to them. What if you sent your customers that were in the preparation phase, you sent them something like that? They're like, oh my God, that audio was so good. Okay, and send it in the morning so that they can listen to it maybe sometime throughout the day or in that morning time. That's part of the preparation, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, awesome. Any more questions? Did everyone get the calendar link? Just in case if you needed to snuggle and talk to me about your business and how we can, get some more of your customers to the closing table. Got the customer calendar link. You've got the 3 resources inside the chat box. And then you've got my email and phone number in there. Yes. And I, again, will share this information again. But I love to work with you guys so that we can get some more business generated for the rest of this year. There's somebody in your pipeline right now that needs your help, your support, and your resources. And definitely no one else is reaching out to them and no one can do it better than you. So get that going. Let me know how it's going and any way that I can help support your business. Please let me know. All right, you guys, have an amazing Tuesday on purpose, and I'll talk to you and see you very soon.